Okay, we're doing the quotes of Schopenhauer. This is part 7, I think. Okay, brevity. Brevity when writing. True brevity consists of saying only what is worth saying and avoiding tedious detail that everyone can supply for themselves. True brevity is concise. It only says what has to be said and nothing the reader already knows. The great writer writes the quintessence only. To use many words to communicate few thoughts is the unmistakable sign of mediocrity. To gather much thought into few words stamps the man of genius. A good work is doubly good if it is short. For clarity, when I have read a few pages of an author, I know fairly well how far he can bring me. An obscure and vague manner of expression is always a very bad sign. In 99 cases out of 100, it comes from a vagueness of thought. And this almost always means that there is something wrong about the thought itself, that it is incorrect. True abolition of Latin as the universal language of learned men, together with the rise of that provincialism which attaches to national literatures, has been a real misfortune for the cause of knowledge in Europe. For it was chiefly through the medium of the Latin language that a learned public existed in Europe at all, a public to which every book as it came out directly appealed. The number of minds in the whole of Europe that are capable of thinking and judging is small as it is. But when the audience is broken up and severed by differences of language, then the good that these minds can do is very much weakened. This is a great disadvantage. But a second and worse one will follow from this loss of the Latin language. Namely, the ancient languages will cease to be taught at all. The neglect of them is rapidly gaining ground in both France and Germany. If it should really come to this, a loss of the Latin and Greek languages, then farewell humanity, farewell noble taste and high thinking. The age of barbarism will return, in spite of the railways, the telegraphs, and the balloons. And yeah, he's right. If people stop studying the ancient Greeks and Romans and the European Renaissance, and really the Renaissance of the 1800s as well, humankind will just go into atheistic Darwinism and then turn into third world barbarians. And that's what's happening right now. Schopenhauer continues. We shall thus, in the end, lose one more advantage possessed of by all our ancestors. For Latin is not only a key to the knowledge of the Roman antiquity, it also directly opens up to us the Middle Ages in every country in Europe, and extending into modern times as well, down to around 1750. Yep, he was right. The best recreation for the mind is to study the ancient classics. Every man must necessarily take his chief pleasure in his own work, because it is the mirror of his mind, the echo of his own thought, and next in order will come the work of people like him. When the reader takes all this into consideration, he should be surprised, not that the great work is so late in winning reputation, but that it wins it at all. Writers may be classified as meteors, planets, and fixed stars. A meteor makes a striking effect for a moment. You can look up and cry, there it is, then it's gone forever. Planets last much longer. They often outshine the fixed stars and are confounded with them by the inexperienced. But this is only because they are near. The light which they give is reflected only, with the circuit of a few years, and then the tale is told. Fixed stars are the ones that are constant. Their position in the firmament is secure. They shine with a light of their own. They belong not just to one system, but to the universe. Okay, that'd be like Plutarch's Lives, for example, Julius Caesar's Commentaries, for example, Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, Plato's Republic. Okay, Schopenhauer continues. The thing treated can be important, whoever wrote it. The form, the peculiar character of a book depends upon the person who wrote it. It is the way in which the matters are treated, what is thought about them, that gives the book its value, and this comes from the author. If a book is excellent and beyond comparison, so is its author. Where the matter is accessible to everyone, then everything will depend upon the form of the book. What is thought about the matter will give the book all the value it possesses. Here only a really distinguished man will be able to produce anything worth reading, for others will think nothing but that which anyone else could think. So what he's basically saying is, if the book is about a common topic and a lot of different people could have written it, only a brilliant person will write a good book. Because the average person will just put some generic conformist, kitsch nonsense in there. But A person who's not that bright and not that good of a writer can still write a great book if they have a unique experience. And I think a perfect example was that lady who escaped from North Korea. She can tell you what North Korea is like, and even if she doesn't communicate so well, no one else can tell you what North Korea is like. So whatever she has to say on the subject is valuable. Okay, Schopenhauer continues. A good author is fertile in ideas. He truly has something to say. While a man should, if possible, think like a great genius, he should talk the same language as everyone else. Only when a man is convinced of the truth and importance of his thoughts will he feel the enthusiasm necessary for an untiring effort to find the clearest, finest, and strongest expression for them. Yeah, that's why a person has to be decisive and confident, if you're going to do something big in writing. Because a lot of people would say to me, why are you so arrogant? Why are you so confident? I'm like, well, I have a pretty big job to do to rewrite the medical textbooks, okay? That's, it takes some oomph to do that. Schopenhauer continues, good writing should be guided by the rule that a man cannot think more than one thing clearly at a time. Okay, so what he's basically saying there is when you write a sentence, just have one topic per sentence. Don't try to stick too many sentences all into the same sentence. Okay, that's getting into style. He says a characteristic sign of a mind of the highest order is that it always judges firsthand. It trusts itself to make decisions. Okay, that's the end of part 7. I hope you found that helpful.